welcome back to another episode of the Carbon Cardboard Podcast covering Formula One and the Formula One card hobby. I'm your host, Bryan, Q3 Cards, joined as always with my good friend Scott from the F1 Castle. Scott, happy Father's Day. We're
Happy
recording.
Father's Day to you as well.
Thank you, sir. We have about 40 minutes left of the day as we go through here, so hopefully you and little Seb had a fun day.
Yeah, I will say I was up real late the night before ripping cards, so I
We'll talk
slept
about
in pretty
that.
late, and I've got a little bit of the sniffles. So I actually slept a lot of the day. So my Father's Day was a lot of like the Queen of the Castle running the show, so Daddy could sleep. But it was nice hanging out with Seb and everything. And happy Father's Day to all the listeners out there as well, of course. But yeah, no, it was nice. Nice relaxing day. We had a single stream here to end it off. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I also probably have that as well because mid afternoon I was on my deck and my wife apparently let me take a nap on our deck on our couch out there for like an hour and a half. And of
Lovely.
course, for those that don't know, and I know that you know this, here in the Northeast right now, the pollen is just ridiculously bad. Through my throat's pretty scratchy. So on one hand,
Got the
nap is
same thing.
great. On the other hand, I'll be paying for it tomorrow. So
Got that hay fever.
yeah. Oh, good stuff. So, probably a little bit of a different episode. Actually, let me show this real quick too, because I know you just shared this on Instagram a little bit ago. But, um, in the vein
Right.
of Father's Day here, you found some items from the Wayback Machine, which is
Way
awesome.
back. Yeah, so for the podcast listeners, if you're not watching this on YouTube, up on screen, we have got a picture that I drew, and it's dated actually. It's dated. You can see 1996. So at this point, I was 7 years old. And I drew a picture of Ayrton Senna's MP4B. I've got it up there, with the red and white and everything. I don't have the sponsors on there. But I did my best as a little 7-year-old me to Dad loves Scott. So yeah, I put a little story on my post. But I mean, if you know me, you already know this. But if you don't, I mean, the reason I got into Formula One was because of my father. So I mean, no better day to discuss this than on Father's Day. But my dad was a massive Formula One fan. He was obsessed with it. I wouldn't have known what Formula One even was without my father. And he'd always have me watch the races with him. He would talk to me about it, and, go over all the different countries that the drivers were from, the different helmets they wore. So I love the helmets and the flags so much. But it was a really big part of my childhood growing up. And I would spend a lot of time drawing pictures of Formula One cars. I'm no artist, and I wasn't at 7, and I'm not now. So it's not the best drawing, but you can see maybe some changeable conditions because there's clouds up there. So who knows? But
Maybe this
yeah,
was
I
in
mean,
Canada.
I wouldn't have made the F1 Castle if it wasn't for my father. Right, I never would have gotten into F1 cards eventually, and had the drive and the passion to be a huge F1 fan myself and to grow the F1 card community. And it's a shame that he passed, before these cards came out. He never kind of got to see any of this materialize. Unless for the religious of you, he could be up there watching. You never know. But it is cool, and his passion lives on in me. And I get to share that with everyone through the F1 Castle. So it's really cool. So had to pay homage to my father, my late father, on Father's Day. One of the days always gotta, take a hard swallow. But it's nice. It's nice to see everything we've built and continuing to build here in the F1 Castle. It's all thanks to my father, going way back to when I was 7.
Well, having known you for several years now, Scott, I can. That was one of the first things that I picked up about you was that enthusiasm you had, and I was just in one of your single streams on Fanatics, and several people are just.
That's right.
I mean, I'm a kind of a fanboy about it sometimes. I mean, you are a really good ambassador for the hobby. I mean, there's so many other great people out there doing great things too, and I don't want to,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, not mention any of them. So it's hard to just mention a few without omitting anybody, just because there's so many of them. But I mean, you do such a great job at that with with the giveaways and everything. And I've seen so many people that we come into contact with that were card collectors before and are actually now fans of Formula One because of just stumbling upon some of your streams and stuff. So again, I think that's a great, you know, transition from carrying that torch on and passing that on to others. So like you said, he's probably looking down, smiling would be my bet.
Yeah. Love it.
All right,
Absolutely love it.
one other photo I wanted to go through here real quickly
That's
too.
right. Yeah. So my dad wasn't the only big Formula One fan. My stepfather actually also a big Formula One fan, and I should have included the red arrow here. But so this is from a Grand Prix way back when the U.S. Grand Prix was in Watkins Glen, where my dad actually raced a ton Formula V. But so Watkins Glen, way back in the day, U.S. Grand Prix used to be here. And this is Jackie Stewart. There's a picture up here. This is from a magazine for Motorsports Club. And there's a picture of Jackie Stewart giving a speech, answering questions at the Motorsports Club in Watkins Glen. And my stepdad, you can see, so if you're seeing the picture here, you got Jackie Stewart, and then there's a couple pictures. Yeah. So go down to the right a little bit. One more to the right. One more. Right there. There. The big mustache and bucket hat. That is my stepdad, Bob. And you may have seen Bob Powell. He hangs out in the F1 Castle in the Streams Live. He's one of my biggest fans. And he, while being my stepfather, has always been a father to me. I love him to death. Absolutely one of the biggest, he is a father figure in my life. And, he's a big part of, who I am today, helping raise me up from when I was a little kid. And he was a big Formula One fan. He used to go to all the races in the US. So it's cool to see him in a picture here. He's got a ton of the old magazines and programs and everything. We've gone over it together and stuff. And it's a blast from the past. But yeah, back in the day of black and white photos. But yeah, so really cool. It's my father, my stepfather, all the dads in my life are all into Formula One. So it was only natural that I would follow their course.
Very cool. So topic wise, I mean, I guess Scott, it's 7 minutes into this thing. We haven't really even talked about anything recent going on here. No Formula One race this week, but
Right.
we're now getting ready to do 3 races in 4 weekends.
5 and 6 too. It's
5 and 6 too.
yeah.
I mean, this is a good stretch. Actually, this
Legendary.
goes right to the summer break, doesn't it? 5 and 6.
That's right. Yeah, and you know what? This is one of those things where it's like we're gonna get used to having a race like every week, and then we won't. And it's be like,
This 30,
you know,
30 days or so after those.
yeah, it's tough.
What's the last one it ends with? I should know this.
I actually don't know.
It goes.
Here, we'll look it up. We'll do a little live.
We'll go
little live.
live. So I know it is Barcelona this weekend. So home race
Yeah.
for Carlos Sainz and Fernando Alonso. Silverstone's in there. Red Bull Ring, Austria.
Yeah, so it goes exactly. We've got Canada, or we've got like you said, Spain coming up this weekend. Then the next weekend is Austria, and then the weekend right after that is Great Britain, and then we get a week off, and then we go Hungary, Belgium. And then we've got our 3-week break. So
sad. Spa's a good. I love Spa.
my first year is a good one to end.
I really like Spa. I love Austria. Some of these tracks are just some of my favorite. I'm a little indifferent to probably Barcelona or Spain and Hungary, but some of the other ones there's going to be some good racing, especially the way that the field is looking like this year. So lots to talk about there, but this weekend we just wrapped up 24-hour Le Mans.
That's right.
Le Mans, excuse me, and I have this tendency. It's I have ADHD. I don't think I've ever mentioned that on the show before. I get hyper focused on things. I change my mind a lot. But for some reason, I was just like, you know what? There's no Formula One this weekend. Saturday afternoon, I've got a little time, and I just happened to like, all right, I'm gonna watch, because obviously I know there's plenty of other Formula One, Formula 2 drivers and stuff in the field. I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. And Scott, I've seen Ford versus Ferrari.
Yep.
The Gran Turismo movie. So I'm obviously familiar with 24-hour Le Mans. And I was just like, this is so awesome. Obviously, I wasn't going to sit there and watch all of it. But, a couple hours
24.
yesterday, a couple hours this morning watching, drinking some coffee. But, yeah, it's fascinating. And I just had to learn everything. And I got to tie it back to Father's Day. I had to learn as much as I could, as quickly as I could yesterday afternoon. And then my son's sitting next to me on the couch this morning, and here I am pretending like I'm an expert talking about all the different classes and all this other stuff. And that's the best part about having kids is like you fake it till you make it. And he
There you
could have
go.
known that I've known this for years, but I just found out about it 24 hours ago.
Listen, that's how you do it.
uh, but what I guess, Scott, where I want to pick your brain on this too, and we talk about this, and you talk about this on your stream. With so many Formula One and Formula Two drivers, et cetera, that are in these endurance races, we have cards of them. So I want to talk
Yeah,
about that a little bit because you might be able to rummage through some of your boxes of Topps Chrome, et cetera, cards, and maybe you can use some of this momentum of some of these guys being in the news and maybe reminisce about some of the cool cards that we're looking at here, or potentially look to move them because a couple of these guys are on the podium.
that's right.
All right. So how do you want to work this? We haven't really. We're working out this live. This is live. We all know the rules. One take, all that other jazz.
So why don't you bring up the list and go through the list, and then I'll tell everyone what year they have cards in. So
Okay. All right.
driver by driver.
All right. We'll do this by class. So there's 3 classes: Hypercar, LMP2, and LMGT3, which is more of probably what most people are used to with the traditional ones. So let's go. We'll work backwards. We'll go GT3 to Hypercar, which is apparently those are the ones that we're all talking about. So in LMGT3, the only card person that I know, and this person is very famous, potentially infamous in the F1 Castle.
That's right.
Marino Sato.
Marino Sato. Listen, I feel like everyone's got it now. The original Sato mojo started in the castle back when we pulled the 2020 Superfractor Auto, and then went on to pull tons of other Sato. We coined the Sato mojo because whenever we pull a big Sato, something else huge would come out, out of it. And now it's Sato, like brings the heat is like a new phrase that comes in. But yeah, the Sato mojo. Marino Sato is in 2020. OG year. He's in 2021 and he's in 2022. So he's in every year except 23. No longer in the product, but yeah, goes all the way back.
All right, let's go to LMP2. We've got 5 drivers here, so we'll go one by one.
Sure.
Bent Viscal.
Bent Viscal made a quick appearance. He was in 2021, and that's it. So he was in 1 year. And if I get any of these wrong, sorry, I'm going straight on memory. We'll see, but we'll see. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm testing
listeners.
you to see because I kind of remember most of these guys are, but all right. So get Bent as many of the breakers said at the time. Louis Delatraz.
Delatraz is 2020, and that's it. So he's in the OG year, and that's all.
Ollie Caldwell.
Ollie Caldwell's in 2022, and that is also his only year.
Clement Novalak.
Clement Novalak is in 22 and 23. Pretty sure.
I think you're right.
He might be. Check me on 21, but I don't think he came in. I think 22 and 23.
I think 22 is the first one. And then probably the biggest name on this list for this class was Frederick Vesti.
And Vesti made his first appearance in 22 and is also in 23.
And obviously he's got Futera cards. So, there's some pretty good ones here. We'll come back to a lot of these guys as we go through this. So the hypercar category, these are the fastest cars, the ones that do the most laps. This is not it's a timed race. So you're looking to see how many laps you can complete during that time period and whatever car completes the most. Actually, the cool thing that I noticed about this, Scott, this year was they said 9 cars finished on the lead lap, and that never happens. It's usually only about 2 cars. So the field is seems like it's really
you think over 24 hours, right? I mean, and obviously safety cars are going to play into that, but like it's just such a long race to have a close finish like that.
So some of the safety cars lasted, we complain when the safety car lasts like 10, 15 minutes in a Formula One race. One of the safety cars last night went for like 4 hours in the rain.
Drugovich was being interviewed, and he was talking about how he did an entire stint behind the safety car. Like, can you
Some of these
imagine?
guys, like one of the guys, is like, I can't even stretch my legs out. I'm getting cramps. So hypercar category. These are going to be some of the bigger names, the bigger manufacturers and everything. Nick DeVries.
Nick DeVries. So Nick DeVries' first year is actually 23. Even though he was in Formula 2, he's in Formula 2, won the championship well before they made Formula 1 cards. So Nick DeVries' first year and only year, 2023, rookie cards.
Finished on the podium in second this
That's
year.
right.
Callum Ilott.
Callum goes back to 2020, baby. He's in the OG year 2020, and that is also his only year. He went off to IndyCar afterwards.
Romain Grosjean.
Grosjean, also another 2020 specialist. He has one card in 2021, though. He has driver of the day in Bahrain from the race where he was in that fireball crash. So he's exclusively really in 2020, but he does have one card in 2021.
Probably one of the bigger names that most people know here, with obviously Mick Schumacher, with Alpine. Yep. I have to look back. I know. Here's the thing. Alpine did not have a reliable engine to bring here. Both of their cars DNF'd within like the first 10 laps. I don't even know if Nick got behind the wheel on the actual race. Obviously, he probably did some of the timing trials and everything, but poor Mick.
So Mick is, I think, the only driver on this list that is in every single year. So Mick is in 2020 with his Future Stars card. He's in 2021 with his rookie card. He's in 2022 with a ton of cards, and then he's got one card once again. In 23, he has one card. Well, technically, he has multiple. He has one card in the 1 through 200 set, and then he also has the reserve driver autograph that they brought for this year. So he's got two cards in 2023 Chrome, one card in 23 Sapphire. But he's in every single year.
Antonio Giovinazzi.
Giovinazzi. So he won Le Mans last year.
And finished third. He was on the podium this year. So Ferrari did quite well in 2 years running here. Obviously, another big name on this list.
Yeah, big name, racing F1. So he was in the 2020 set, and he was in the 2021 set, and that is it. So he is in the first 2 years of Formula 1, and then we said bon voyage.
Daniel Kvyat.
Danny Kvyat. Daniel Kvyat is in the OG 2020 set for AlphaTauri, and that is his only year.
The J. Moser special.
That's right.
Robert Schwartzman, who was actually teamed up on the third Ferrari car with Kubica, who doesn't ever have a car. I didn't include him just because obviously he's a race winner, 2006 Formula One, and came back with Williams, but did not have a card, so I didn't want to mention him here. But teammate Robert Schwartzman. I'm struggling with these names because it's 11:30.
It's true.
It's 11:30 at night, and it's so.
Yeah, so Robert Schwartzman, he's in the original OG 2020 set. He's also in 2021. I'm pretty sure, and this is going to be another one you have to spot check in. I don't think he's in 22. I think he's 2020, 21, and then I think he takes a year off because he was out of Formula 2 and there was no cards related to it. And then he's back in this year's product only as a reserve driver. So I think he goes 2020, 2021, and then 2023. But you have to maybe check. I don't think he's in 22.
I don't think so. I think you're right. Yeah, he definitely just has that Ferrari reserve driver card. Actually, they both have him and
don't spoil.
Giovinazzi
he has a reserve driver card. Yeah. You say it. So
I
messed up. There you go. That was the one. So nice correction there. Giovinazzi 2020, 2021, and then he does have the reserve driver card, sneaking it in there in 23. There you go. See, Q3 cards keep me on point.
Speaking of those reserve driver cards, Stoffel Vandoorne, who is way before my time watching as a fan here, but
Stoffel,
reserve driver.
He's a legend, man. He was in Formula 2. Everyone thought he was coming into Formula 1. He's super hyped coming into Formula 1. partners with Fernando Alonso and gets blanked in qualifying. Literally loses every single qualifying to him, ruined his career, and we never saw him again. He is a reserve driver for Aston Martin, and as such, he has one card in 2023, reserve driver auto. And it's actually a nice picture. He's got like the shades on. He's looking pretty cool, pretty GQ.
Next up, Jack Aitken, who had a
Jack
cup of
Aiken.
coffee.
He did. Jack Aiken actually got to drive in a Formula One race. So Jack Aiken, this is an interesting one because he's in 2020. Okay. And then he drove in the 2020 season when Lewis Hamilton had COVID. George Russell was brought up to Mercedes, should have won that race on 2 separate occasions, and bad luck caused him to not win that race. But in his stead at Williams, Jack Aiken filled in. Now, Jack Aiken, it was an unfortunate race for him. He had to retire. And they did not make a car because he didn't get driver of the day or anything like that. So Aiken, I don't think Aiken has. Actually, does he have 21? He might. Now I'm getting all over the place. I think it might just be 2020. I think it's just 2020.
For all the screw ups that we're doing here, in the comments below, tell everybody.
Let us know.
Let us know how much of hacks we are, because we are, and we're just making this up on the fly. I actually do have a list of these names on my other screen
really?
here. Yeah, and that's what I'm going by here.
Well, he definitely has 2020, and I think that's it.
We'll go with that. So, and finally, you mentioned him a little bit ago, but Felipe Drugovich also drove this year.
So Drugovich, I actually stand corrected about my comment about Mick earlier. Drugovich is in every year. Drugovich is in every single year. He's barely in 23. He got in 23 he's got his award winner card for the F2. He's got his celebration variation and then his reserve driver auto. So he's got a few cards in 23. And then he's just in 22, 21, 2020 as an F2 driver. So yeah, Drugovich and Mick Schumacher, though, that makes them the only 2 on this list that are in all 3 years.
So again, it's just we've talked about this before too. Is
4 years
with the sport. I mean, there's only going to be one winner. There's that infamous Nicky Lauda speech where he thanks all the losers because there can only be one winner and stuff. That is actually a really good speech. I'm not going to do it any justice, but go look it up. But yeah, it's just great that you have the opportunity. Like I said, I've got boxes of cards. You've got pallets of cards hanging around that you can just paw through and just look at the backs and stuff. It's just kind of cool. It's just another reason to maybe give you a chance to give a second look at some of these cards that you probably haven't even thought of in several years here that, may not be of value to you, but maybe there's somebody that just watched Le Mans and is like, man, this was really cool. I want to go see what I can go collect. And it's pretty cool. So again, I don't know that they're ever gonna make Le Mans cards or endurance race. We keep referring to Le Mans, but it's obviously the endurance
WEC.
WEC that series. But again, when you're kind of a fan of motorsport, you kind of have a tendency just to gravitate that. And you've even got Max. It's like he's doing the virtual versions of these.
He'll be doing
a matter of time
racing,
before he gets like Fernando did and several others, Jenson Button. There's some of the guys that we could have mentioned that didn't have cars but didn't really fit within the framework of what we're looking to do with the show here tonight.
Yeah. No, it's a legendary racing series, right? I mean, that's why it's part of the Triple Crown, right? You win the Indy 500, you win Monaco, and you win Le Mans 24 hours. Those are the 3 biggest races across all different classes. So yeah, legendary. Cool to see some of the former drivers racing over there.
All right, let's finish the show here with some legendary polls. And as we were talking pre-show, you had quite the legendary night last night, excuse me, and as I've dubbed as Scott Squared.
That's right. Racing Chronos. What a legend. Yeah, so on Friday night, we had opened the first 4 boxes of Sapphire from a sealed case, and they were terrible. Literally awful. And so Scott was like, well, I can't stop there. I'll take the rest of the case. So we actually went over to Fanatics Live because he had some Fanatics Live mojo with me earlier. We've been pulling some big cards in there. It's where the Red Kimmy auto came from. And literally first box we opened one of one Pad Paraja McLaren logo. So absolutely epic, super cool. So happy to pull that for Scott. Like you said, Scott Squared becoming the little unbeatable combo right now. He's just been hitting a ton of big cards. Pulled a red auto Leclerc with golden pulls too. So he's had an epic weekend for himself. But yeah, I mean the last week of Formula One cards has been off the charts in terms of ripping. And there's no stopping there because we got a big event coming up this week.
All right, so we can actually probably share a little bit of the details. We teased it the last episode out,
That's
but
right.
take it away. I mean, this is huge. There's so many people
This is
excited
big.
about this.
This is big, guys. I mean, so this is the first time that 2006 Futera Grand Prix unique cards have been opened. And, you can go on YouTube and you can see a lot of videos of the 2005 boxes being opened. There were 7,140 boxes created for 2005. They're fairly common. But 2006 was Futera unique, right? And these packs look different. Cards are different. Everything is different about this product, and especially the fact that they only made 480 boxes. So it's extremely rare. We are going to be opening this. This is a personal break for Jeff Crypto Cards, who bought this box off of Golden for like $91,000. So this is
Holy
serious
cow.
money. And we're opening this Tuesday, June 18th at 1 p.m. Eastern. So set your clocks. It's going to be on my Instagram, on my personal Instagram at F1 Castle. We are going to be opening this box. It's going to be absolutely legendary. I cannot wait. We're doing it live at PSA Headquarters in New Jersey over here on the East Coast. And the cards are all going to be graded on the spot with PSA. So yeah, we're really looking forward to that. We're also, this is the first we've even talked about this. You're getting the exclusive scoop here on the Carbon Cardboard podcast. We are giving away 5 of the cards. So we are going to give away 5 cards to 5 lucky winners. You have to be watching. You have to be in my live to be included in the giveaway. We'll have other details on it, but 5 of these cards are going to be given away. All you got to do is watch. So stay tuned for extra details on that. But yeah, it's going to be awesome. We're giving away to the community here. We're hoping to pull Lewis Hamilton, right? I mean, that's we're hoping to pull it. And here's an example. So this is actually a picture of 2008 Futera Unique World Football cards, right? So soccer cards. And this is what the packs will look like. This is what the packs will look like in 2006 Futera Unique Grand Prix. They're almost like decks of cards. It's almost like a deck of cards, and it's like a gold sleeve, and inside of that is like a sealed, like another gold little box. You pull it out, you undo the seal and everything, and then the cards come out. We're gonna have to be very careful opening these things. It's not like just a standard pack of cards. So it's a whole nother deal. It's an epic presentation, which was the whole idea of them, to make it kind of the unique, the upper echelon. So yeah, that's why cards are premium, really fun, and super excited for it. It's gonna be a hell of a time.
How many cards are in the box themselves?
So each pack, there's 12 packs. Each pack has 5 base cards and 1 insert. The inserts are either the gold memo cell out of 175, the porcelain memorabilia out of 275, or the photo. It's called like the future photos or photo shoot, whatever, out of 275. They all have memorabilia. So every pack will have a memorabilia card and then 5 base cards. And then one of the packs, and it's not guaranteed because it's one every 12 packs. So it could be in a box, could not, but we're hoping to get a 1-of-1 gold plated auto. And that would be in one of the packs, again, along with 5 base cards. But so we will end up with 60 base cards at the end and then 12 memorabilia cards. Now, it's funny because memorabilia cards are great. They're awesome. They're worth a lot of money. But the base cards are the one that we actually care about the most because that's where you're going to get the Lewis Hamilton next cards. There's 100 cards in the checklist. There's 60 cards in our box. We're hoping to get at least 1 Lewis. 2 would be amazing. But so we're hoping to at least get 1, but would love another one. So yeah, so that'll be a lot of fun. And man, in one of these boxes somewhere, there's a 1-of-1 gold plated Lewis Hamilton autograph. And if that were to get pulled, I mean, that might be the biggest card that exists. I don't know. So we'll have to see. It's going to be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Really looking forward to it.
All right, so definitely stay tuned. That will be exciting, and I'll be setting my watch. And it's a great way to get a little, escape out of the workday.
There you go.
So maybe
Lunch break.
take a later lunch break. Mid morning snack if you're friends on the West Coast, and it's gonna be a great time. So, all right, Scott. Again, another little different but fun episode. So lots of stuff to look forward to. I'm sure you got a lot of other stuff coming up in the castle besides this Futera break,
Yep.
but I will send it over to you for the sign off.
All right, guys. Well, tune in for sure for the Futera break, and it's race week in Barcelona, so we'll have another podcast up later this week. But guys, in the meantime, collect your cardboard, keep it carbon.